So the concept of guaranteed basic income has long been the subject of countless debates over its effectiveness and how it could impact quality of life as well as the economy. Well, get this, a new report out of Prince Edward Island says poverty rates would plummet if the province adopted a guaranteed basic income model. Perhaps no surprise to a lot of you. So for a look at how this model could work and how it might be applied in other parts of the country, let's bring in our personal finance expert, Rubina Ahmed-Haq. Rubina, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about this, and obviously a lot of people across this country, obviously Prince Edward Island as well, need help. Is this even viable? Is this worth trying?
It absolutely is worth trying. It's been proven over and over again that universal basic income works, and this proposal is saying that it would lift the majority of those who live on PEI out of poverty, children, those under the poverty line, and especially those individuals who have disabilities that are living on very little money. This is something that has been tested across the world and in the United States, and by and large, it creates more happiness in the community as people feel more and more empowered because they have more money to do the things that they need to get done and are not struggling to pay those day-to-day bills.
So it sounds logical, but let's break down the numbers. How would that shape out?
So this specific proposal on PEI is saying that they should be a basic income of just over $19,000 for an individual and $27,000 for a couple. Now they're saying this would not affect the universal child benefit that many individuals get. It would be added on to that, and you would of course qualify if you were living at or under the poverty line. That is their proposal right now, and they're asking the federal government to immediately take a look at this. The way they would pay for it is by taxing those who are in the higher income bracket. And they say it can work, and they want to try it for 5 to 7 years.
Okay, but you were talking about a province, the smallest province in Canada, about less than 180,000 people in the province itself. Here's something that I don't quite understand as well. Some of the math that I've heard is around $188 million roughly. I don't know how that math works out exactly. Nonetheless, we're talking about, less than 200,000 people. How would this work in other provinces with a much greater population? Ontario, around 15, for example. 15 million.
Yeah, exactly. So bigger population, a bigger pool of people to collect more income tax from to pay for a program like this. So it's being proposed on PEI, but it has already been used in many countries. England, for example, where the population is higher, there's communities there that have tested basic income and said that it raised happiness levels significantly. It gave individuals the ability to look for a better job. So if they lost their job, for example, they didn't have to quickly find one that maybe was at a lower salary or didn't really suit their skills. They could take their time and find a job that really did suit their skills, paid them a higher salary, and then they wouldn't need that universal basic income once they started working. So, and it's being also proposed in Boston, a huge city, of course, in the United States. So it's not something that, just in a small community would work. It can absolutely work in a big province like Ontario, British Columbia, where the cost of living, frankly, is much higher than on PEI.
Quite intriguing in terms of obviously inspiring for a lot of people as well. So this kind of negates the argument from a lot of people that A, it costs too much money, and B, that it perhaps could disincentivize people from working.
So they did talk about this in the report, and it does show that if you do start working, that it does reduce the amount of basic income you get. But the benefit of working, you make much more income. They're reducing your basic universal income by 50 cents for every dollar that you make. So they're saying that this would incentivize people to actually go out there and get better jobs because they obviously will be bringing more income home. This is in no way seen as a way to fund people's lifestyle for their entire life. This is a way to stop gap where you can get from one layoff to the next job. You can live in a basic apartment. You can afford basic things. It will keep individuals out of food banks and other places where there's a lot of pressure because they will have the money to go out and buy the things they need for their family.
Interesting. Okay, so effectively a tax, which may be obviously discouraging for a lot of people, would it not? And certainly a lot of governments to implement.
Yeah, so it would be taxing those who are at the highest income bracket, and they're saying that it would the number would be about $2,000 for those in the highest income bracket to afford this program. But of course, it is for the betterment of the community. So they're saying that this would then create a situation where those living on PEI would have a better feeling about their own future, about their own financial wellness. They would be able to work in jobs that really do suit what they have been trained to do, and you wouldn't have people who are facing homelessness and other problems that happen when they're living well below the poverty line, that they would be able to continue with their lives at a very basic level until they got back on their feet financially.
Rubina, always a pleasure. Thank you again.